Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about how to make money on apps like Thumbtack, how to get started, how people can find you, how you can get leads, and how to do some of the things on there that you'll need to do to be profitable and what you'll need to do. So, first thing you want to do is you want to go create a pro account. So, you'll start here, put in kind of what you want to do, hit the get leads. Let's type this in painting. We're going to do painting. We're going to do painter. We're going to start there and go with that. You can go through all of this. It'll eventually take you over to where you actually get in. You can go ahead and fill out all your information. The great thing I like about Thumbtack is it does do a background check. You can do a background check, so people can sometimes be a little bit more enticed by the fact that you've done the background check and they know that you're safe to be in their house and around their house and everything else. So you go through, fill out all your information. You can list any licenses. I like to put up other work that I've done so people can see what you've done. You can put in some of those things, whether you're offering any discounts, if you offer remote services or consultations. I try to do as much of this as possible whenever something comes up to work with somebody just directly over the phone. Most people that start out on the Thumbtack app and contact you don't really know how to communicate on it all that well. So I usually end up giving them my phone number. We text back and forth, and we call to kind of make sure we get everything set up right. Payments accepted. I like to try to make everything super simple for the customer so I get paid easier. You're going to do cash, check, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, whatever. Just want to get paid on there. You can add any social accounts that you have connected if you want to show other work, so you don't have to show it here. It's very helpful. You've got feature projects. I did a couple of cool things that I've done here over the last couple of years that worked out pretty well, and then kind of give an approximate cost. But you know, every job is going to be different. The biggest thing you want to focus on when you're first getting started here is getting some reviews, so that when people go to take a look at your profile, they know that you are you're getting reviews, people are happy with your service, and that you're taking care of folks, that you take care of them as well. You've got some FAQs. What should the customer know? I don't know that a whole lot of people look at this, because I can tell you from talking to each one of these different customers, everything's a little different. So once you've got all that worked out, you can start advertising for services, picking up leads, getting jobs. We'll walk through one of those to talk about how that looks. So there's a couple of different areas here, and there's a ton of different services that are offered. And this is under the services tab. So you've got leads, messages, services, your calendar, and your profile. So the leads is anything that comes in directly to you. And then there's also opportunities. So if somebody has not responded to a job that you might be interested in, you can go check it out. You can see what it is, what they're looking for, and then you can put in a price and see if they would be interested in working with you. So you've also got messages that are back and forth with folks. Like I said, most of this is just kind of a starting spot to let people get their number and then work it that way, because that's a whole lot easier than trying to work back through the app. You can set up different services. There's a ton of different services in here. I will say kind of the catch-all for me has been handyman service. If there's something that somebody doesn't know what they want, that's usually where they go. We're going to kind of look at how you set some of these up. There's cleaning, there's moving, there's landscape, there's literally everything. So really what we want to do is we want to look at one of these that's fairly straightforward. We'll look at interior painting, because you want to turn on targeting to start advertising for the service and getting leads. So we're going to go to interior painting, because that's what we want to do next, and we want to turn off targeting for it. How much you charge per job, you can decide if you want to put that in there. I usually don't put it in there because every job seems to be a little bit different, and I like to talk to the people and kind of figure out what they want before we get down that path. Turn on targeting. Right now I don't have this one turned on, but you can talk about how far away from where you're at, you want to travel, if you want to stay kind of in the same county that you're in, if you want to travel further away. So you can kind of set that up so you only get leads from where you want. You can look at job types. So for painting, there's pretty much everything that you could want. I mean, if you only want to do single rooms, or if you want to do everything. If you want to do repaints, same color, I usually turn everything on and then discuss it with the folks once we get to talking, because you never know. I like to try to keep it pretty open, but if you wanted to narrow it down, you can narrow it down pretty quickly there. And you can set up times that you want to work. If there's times that you're going to be off, I usually go in and set up my calendar and say, hey, I'm not going to be available then. That way you don't get leads for it. You don't get charged for it. Probably the biggest thing, and I've kept this just because this is a side hustle for me, on the weekly targeting, I go pretty low, anywhere from $20 to $40 a week. I usually hit one or two of these, depending on the category. If it's in the handyman category, you can hit a lot of them. If it's in junk removal, I've hit one. So I try to keep it pretty low just so I don't go overboard. And you usually get pretty busy once you kind of get a pretty good customer base out there. So that's the leads, and once you start turning that on, you can do, it'll show you about how much you'll get charged. So let's go to painting, because that's not quite right. Interior painting. So this is kind of what they'll charge you for those leads. If it's just a touch up, all the way up to, a whole house. But if it's a whole house, that $46 is worth it, because I would take $46 as a lead to get $2, $4, $5, $10,000 jobs. So it works itself out pretty easily. Back into the services. You can set up that. You can set up weekly targeting prices. You can turn this on. You can see I have this one paused. If you get to a point where you're busy enough that you're like, hey, I don't need any more business, you can come in and pause these at any time. It won't remove you if you still have something on, but it will pause it. So that way you can kind of get caught up and make sure you're not getting behind there. Like I said, on the calendar, you can go in and set up times that you're not going to be available. So if I'm going to be out of town on Saturday and Sunday, I block those days off just to make sure that it doesn't, somebody doesn't try to book that, and then I get charged for that lead and I can't do it. So I will say most people are pretty flexible. Once they come in here and they try to make an appointment, there's not a whole lot of times where I've been just totally blocked off, unless I get a week or two with a run of, hey, we're going to do a whole house painting, or we're going to do a whole house floor. And because it's a side hustle, it's going to take us a week to a week and a half to get that done. And then I'll come in here and block those days out so I get a little further out. So that's kind of the high level overview of Thumbtack, how to get started, where to go. I would say most of the questions from Thumbtack that cause problems is, hey, how much am I going to get charged, and how often, and does that mean I'm going to get that job? Not necessarily. Sometimes there are other pros competing for these jobs, so you may not get every one of those leads, but I will say that it is more than paid for itself since I've used it in the last 2 years. It's pretty easy. More and more people are using apps to find folks to work for them, and this one seems to be working pretty well. So shout out if you have any questions, please like and subscribe and follow for more.